Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another live edition of Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder is here for all of you in a time of great tribulation, a time of great suffering and sorrow, and yet a time to rejoice. Oh, what a show I have for all of you today. Are you excited? I'm very excited because, of course, desolation, it is near. The question is, what does that mean to every boy and girl sitting at home on their phones or their laptops, just scrolling away? Well, I hope that you have hit that like button and that you've shared my channel with them today. And if you do so, well, they may just enjoy that they played a show from a poet who knows it. Wow. What's going on? Is everybody here? We've got a lot of people here. I see a lot of the channel members here. Thank you for doing that, by the way. For like $5, you could be like a channel member. Support the channel. So much to get into. So much to get into. Just look at this thumbnail. It's utter madness. That's Peanut the Squirrel right there. Do you remember Peanut the Squirrel's story? How sad that was? Elon Musk went so far as to say that democracy was saved by Peanut the Squirrel. We got a lot of stuff to get into. We just had breaking news about people visiting that island, if you know what I mean. Some people that you probably wouldn't expect to see on it. It's a twist that a lot of people are, they're shaking their heads about. What a show. What a show. I'm just happy to be here because I miss doing live shows, and I hope that you can do everything that you can to make it successful by smashing the like, by sharing it, by telling your friends. Because this is a day where I got to tell you something. We need to take a pause. Now, remember how they were outraged over Peanut the Squirrel? Well, how much more so now that we have what we have in this country, especially with this country, Charlie Kirk. Especially when. Now, before I get into all of this, I got to tell you something. I'm not saying that any of this stuff is like pre-planned or anything. I'm not saying that when I get into this, when I start to reveal all of this, it's going to seem very suspect. And not because, it just fits so perfectly the narrative of what we're seeing today. But let's for a moment believe that everything happens for a reason. That perhaps the future is encoded in the past. That God somehow made sure, inspired people to do movies like the movie Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage that everybody's talking about. We're going to dive deep into all of this stuff and more. But who's to say that when Jesus said, if you could read the signs, can you read the signs? Been on this channel long enough? I'm pretty sure that you can. I see James is here, Roxanne, True Story Fitness. We got a lot of people already here. Woo! Smashing the like, helping out. All right. Well, let me just show you how many days, okay? 10 months and 11 days before Charlie Kirk's passing. This murder, this terrible thing. Peanut the Squirrel was also murdered and united many. Remember, we are all peanut for peanut. Now, very strange, okay? I'm just going to play you just these two videos that have to do with Peanut the Squirrel. Now, I want you, as I'm playing this, to take into consideration what we just went through with Charlie Kirk. It was almost like Peanut the Squirrel, and of course, when you think of peanuts, you think of who? You think of Charlie Brown. It was almost like Peanut the Squirrel, which the story, he passed away, was the 111, right? That we always talk about, 10 months, 11 days before his death. Now here we go. In this country. And just give this a little bit of a listen and you tell me what you think. in this country, especially when it comes to elections. Do you know peanuts are associated with elections? Do you remember one of the worst presidents before Joe Biden ever was Jimmy Carter, they said? The Peanut Brigade. They were the ones that got him elected. It was like a grassroots thing, the Peanut Brigade. Yeah, because mainly there were peanut farmers that really helped Jimmy Carter get elected. Strange. You know, when I think of peanuts, right, I think of Charlie Brown. I think of Charlie Brown and Lucy. I put this out. I said, oh, ho, ho. Is this the way it's going to feel on election day? You know that ball, you always think it's going to go your way and then it's yanked out? Squirrels are associated with a lot of stuff. They're very symbolic. In fact, they're best known for the fact that they prepare. They prepare for when the winter is coming. Probably heard of the peanut gallery. You know, the peanut gallery, sometimes I think of the Muppets. I think of the two grumpy puppets that are always arguing. They're always criticizing. The peanut gallery is basically, that's the poor seats. Those are the people that can't really afford the good seats, and they're the ones that are very critical of everything. The peanut gallery, they're known for being ignorant and just basically easy to manipulate. And here we have a peanut being put to death and getting everybody upset. Now, it's weird that during No Nut November, which is just a very crass thing that I'm even bringing up. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. That you have this guy right here who's got so many interesting tattoos. Everybody's pointing out the fact that you got the all-seeing eye of Providence. You got this, you got the winky face. It's weird, right? But I mean, it's not that weird. But when you start to like play on December 3rd, all of these clips from that video, it really starts to get you a little bit concerned. And you start to think, it's like, wow, I feel like this story is the story that, well, is recently played out, like as if God gave us a trial run. Now watch this, because of course you think of peanuts, you think of the peanut gallery. You think of, you know, all of those squirrels for Trump back in Peanuts Day. Take a listen. On December 13th, 2023, I put out this post which says, oh shoot, squirrel comms are coming. Oh man, this is a test. You know, when I put those little tests out, I have a vibe that something may come in the future. So I put it out as a test, and then I'll put test complete when it is complete. And I said, start storing away those nuts for a dark winter. It's freaked me out. You look at the meme, you see it right there. It looks like the dog is distracted. And here we are, 10 months and 17 days ago. That's 322 Skull and Bones. After that post, that Peanut the Squirrel news basically went viral.
Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer.
But that's not all that's freaky. It's not just freaky, like why would I think about squirrels, that squirrels were going to become a thing? I don't know. Perhaps it was because not long after that, there was another squirrel that went viral for doing what? Guess what? Faking its own murder. That's right. This squirrel right here, this flying squirrel went viral. Remember it? And it brought the broom and it let the broom fall on it and it played dead and it looked like it was a staged murder of a squirrel. I think that's interesting. Now, a lot of people are already all over this. If you haven't seen the Alex Donut, Truth Seeker, all of them are putting out lots of stuff about this squirrel because, of course, squirrels are associated with nuts. Yeah, that's right. And the whole thing to me is just odd. This is very odd. Because it seems like, we were so upset over the squirrel, but now the outrage over a father, a husband, the whole thing is just very strange to me. But that's not all that's strange, because as I start to peel back some layers and I start to share some things that maybe we've talked about in the past, right? This isn't anything new. We're speculators. We like to look into things and think about things. Squirrels for Trump. It's strange. You know, strange because there is some kind of a thing that is in the land right now. Let me see if I can pull this up. there is some kind of a, well, let's just say in the land, it is just like a virus going around. And people have really sucked it right up. I call it like the zombie Yahtzee virus, if you will. And with everything that's happening right now with Israel, and, you know, they were just in the UN, all of this stuff, it just makes me think that perhaps the scriptures in the book of Luke and the Gospels and in Revelation, they talk about this very day. A day where there's going to be trouble for even mothers with Tylenol. Tylenol. Yeah. Sounds a lot like the name of that. The killer. The same name, Tyler. Do you know what a Tyler is? Somebody that puts the tiles in. All of this stuff together is, well, it's a bit much. Okay, let me peel back the layers here, and let me remind you that Trump was just at. I think I'm a little bit. Am I stuck
ended
here?
7 wars.
All right, here we go. Trump was just at the UN. Okay, and his speech. Well, in his speech, he gave a big shout out to the UN for 2 things. The things that he shouted out were the fact that they probably almost tried to hurt him. There have been rumors going around that they were going to stop the elevator on his way up. And that's just exactly what happened. And you heard about it. But all of these things that are happening, they're very symbolic too. The teleprompter went out, and of course, Trump being my favorite character in the apocalypse, well, he had no problem taking that and turning it into something that was comical, was impressive, and it was bold. Yeah, I'm just gonna just play this for you so you can just get an idea.
I ended 7 wars, and in all cases they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It included all of them. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a...
That was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. When you actually watched how it happened, it's pretty interesting, you know, pretty interesting. There's a lot of symbolism here is what I'm getting at. And we're going to peel back all of these layers, and it's going to start to add up to maybe there's some secret stuff going on. You know, maybe there's like a secret war between, like, you know, sex. Maybe all this stuff that's playing out, maybe it's for the good. I don't know. At the end, you're going to have to tell me. But I will say that the issue with Tylenol is pretty interesting, right? This has been like a very strange little bit of a psyop, or a little, I don't want to say a psyop, because, you know, it's important to know that the drugs that we take could be harmful. I just like to point out the fact that it says that if you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding, well, ask a healthcare professional, right? You got to do that. It's kind of important to do that. Now, here's the interesting thing. Here's the donut. I got to cover this just for a second, okay? Of course, check out the donut. He's such a cool guy. I dig it. This fight between Tyler, and the executioner against Ruiz, September, right? You look at it, it's in September. And, of course, the guy who actually ends up getting taken out, his name is Charles Kirkland. That's interesting. Yeah, and it's, what I said, it's kind of like it's all sort of coded into reality. Does that mean that the stuff isn't real? The stuff is, is that what it means? Or is there maybe something more? What is real, right? What did Pilate say? I told you we're going to enter this time when Elon entered with the hand sink. I said, that's Pilate entering in, saying whatever the will of the people is the will of God. Well, I'm going to give you whatever you want. You tell me what you want. I'm going to wash my hands doing the right thing. He's going to have to answer to a lot of stuff now because it looks like that it's been outed that he's on that list or whatever. Doesn't mean that anything happened, of course. This story just keeps getting worse. Somebody says in the chat, Jacob, you Jude us. I don't even know what that means. Leonard, I don't even know what that means. I'm not Jewish, but I do know that there is a lot of, speaking of that, this is a virus going around. People have sucked it up. They've taken the worm and it's infected them. It's not like I didn't warn you all it was going to happen. Let me see if I have this pulled up, before we get into all that. Before we get into that, let's talk about something good. Here, man splits $22 million with his best friend. This is something that he made a promise to. A man's word is important. If you give your word that you're going to, split a lottery with your best friend, you do it. Now, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with McDonald's. I'm just going to cover this quick before we get into the meat of the show. This was on 9/9. Okay? The portal's opening, lost in McDonald land. That you look at their stuff and sometimes it comes out, well, there's got to be some kind of a big type of an explosion, flood type of a thing. Purple lava. Because that same island on the 9th, it wasn't exploding. Just pointing that out. Their crack marketing team. I got to tell you, this was their last one. They were promoting Silent Hill. Does anybody know that movie, Silent Hill? Does anybody in the live chat? You got to let me know. I don't like scary movies, but I see something like that. I think, oh, God, there's a lot of fog. I think Silent Hill had something to do with, like, hell or something. I don't remember exactly. But I said the invasion comes with fog. Another reason I don't eat McDonald's. Can you hear the silence? I put these things out sometimes just because I want to know why is it that I'm thinking, can you hear the silence? So I put it out there. I don't know why. Sometimes I put stuff out and it really happens. Sometimes weird, very cool things happen. Like, check this out. This was yesterday. All right? I was just going to BJ's. I was going to get rid of some bottles.
Oh my
get some money back from the plastic water bottles and
fall. But do we gotta have like 1 million turkeys? I'm just trying to look at all these turkeys. You turkeys. Hey, what's up, turkeys? You turkeys. Good to see you. Good to see you.
turkeys.
All right, better get out of here. How the heck did you get out here?
Now, it's not a rare occurrence to see a turkey on Long Island. It is a rare occurrence for me to see a turkey on Long Island. I've lived here for going on 18 years, and I've seen a couple of turkeys in the past. You want to know the last time I saw the turkeys? I think I posted about this right before the virus of the crown hit. You make of that what do you want? You want it to be a good sign or a bad sign? You got to be the guy and the gal that tells me in the comment section. You see the turkeys. You see them once, you got to think something. You see him twice, there's something going on. Well, a couple hours later, I was taking the Dan's dad, me and the Dan. Her dad's having a hard time. You know, it's important to take care of your parents and your loved ones when they get old. And he's having a real hard time. So, of course, it was my day off. So we got together and we took him to his appointments. And let me just say that when I brought him home, let me just show this to you. You're not going to believe this. Here is what happened.
All right, go ahead. So, go ahead, drive, honey. Coming back from the doctor with Pops. And there's turkeys. What the hell is going on with the turkeys?
Tell me that something's not going on. Tell me that I'm just, Jacob, you're just, well, I don't know, you're making too much of this, Jacob. Come on, I see 10 turkeys in the morning, 10 turkeys on a row, all looking at me. I was told by Lisa, one of the Israelites. Lisa said, don't go near those turkeys, they can be mean. I was like, I'm not going near them. And then later in the day, after 4 more turkeys. So I think there's got to be something going on with turkey. And there is. Oh, God. Listen, I hope you're enjoying this. Turkey just signed a nuclear deal with the U.S. They just had their big meeting. All right? Okay? Turkish minister, and the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio displayed the documents on strategic civil nuclear cooperation at the White House. Turkey, damn turkeys. That's what I kept saying. Damn turkeys. It's weird, the whole thing with the turkeys. It's also strange that, I posted this. Somebody was saying that they're eating swans, that they're catching swans and they're eating swans. And I posted, they're gearing everyone up to say a big swan event is near. Now, do you think that that's what's going to happen? And I said, I like that they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs remix. Remember that? Remember that remix? I like that remix. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Get us everybody freaked out. Well, they say that there is a lot of sorcery that goes on in the Bible, wizards and priestesses and prophets and kings. Back in the day, the wizards and the prophets, they did battle. Tell me we're not in that day. Come on. Holy crap, right? Holy crap. This is just, it gets weirder and weirder and weirder and cooler and cooler and cooler. And I had like 3 figs for breakfast this morning. Very excited about that. 3 figs. Oh, and by the way, the movie deal thing. Remember I told you I was thinking, nothing yet. But I got a story to tell you. It's going to blow your mind. But it's given me so much encouragement for the days that we're in. I want to show you all this stuff because, and you got to help me out here. What are they doing with the swans, right? And there's another swan. It's called Atlas. Okay? Right, and you'll be able to see it. This literally just came into view. Who heard about the old Atlas swan? The comet. Who heard about this? Got to tell me in the live chat. I'm looking right now. I see Powerlifter, Welsh Warrior, Soul of Hefe, Mary, Apollyon. This new comet just out of the blue. We got swans. I get turkeys. The new comet is now moving into position. You're going to be able to see this. This is not a joke. I'm not even kidding. And then everybody saw Chuck Grassley's post because, of course, everything can't just be somebody showing us soybeans. It has to really be some kind of a big, he's trying to tell us something. You look at that and you look at the word swan. I can't help but see it too. I get it. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the harvest. That's right. Jacob's going to talk about goofy things. He's going to talk about McDonald's, and he's going to go and hit you hard with the prophecy that's right in Scripture. This is the harvest time. My tree is more bountiful than ever before. I have so many figs on it. And like, I was worried they weren't going to mature. Lori says in the live chat, oh, by the way, thank you for the super chat and thank you for being a channel member. By the way, if you want to support the channel, you can do a little super thanks if it's not live, a little super chat if it's live. I appreciate it. Lori is a channel member too. Has anyone seen the moon since the new moon on the 21st? I've been looking up. The mood has been weird. I've had a lot of overcast shadows, but there's something definitely going on up there. It's all kind of playing out. And why wouldn't it? My goodness gracious. So the swan event, you see the swans. There's a picture of the swan. They're gearing everybody up for it. But let me show you what a swan represents, because I think there's another way that we can look at this, my friends. The swan's spiritual meaning. They symbolize grace, purity, love, and transformation. Rock Shepherd knows. Thank you for the super chat, Rock. They represent in their beauty intuition. That's the big one. Spiritual awakening. They are linked with the soul's journey or divine connection. In many cultures, swans are seen as messengers. Messengers. Love, fidelity. I mean, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. I see the turkeys. You think of Thanksgiving, you think of gratitude. Then I see more turkeys. And I'm going, there's something with Turkey. And then we have a deal with Turkey. And Turkey's not too happy with Israel right now, the country. Which, by the way, if you are infected with this virus that I'm going to talk about in a little while, I say that the truth will set you free. Israel is not a land. It is not a nation. It is a people. In fact, in the book of Luke, chapter 20, where it talks about women, a tough time for women in childbirth because you can't take Tylenol anymore. Nation rising against nation, that word nation, it means, I've taught this for years, it doesn't mean literal nation. It means like a tribe, like a race. And there's more division right now than ever before. It is very strange because we have people that I went to school, maybe I was brainwashed or maybe I was taught the truth. I don't know, but I was taught very clearly to hate that guy from Germany. Isn't that right? Gray, thank you for the super chat. I was taught. So it's very foreign to me to see people praising the Fuhrer. It's a strange thing for me. People say that I haven't looked into it enough. I don't know. Alex Jones just did something pretty funny. He actually just shaved his mustache. There, he was in the thumbnail there. Listen, my friends, this is something that is, something you can't bury your head in the sand about. Because not only do we have turkeys, not only do we have swans, but we also have ostriches in the news. Ostriches. Yeah, that's right. Let me play this for you. Let me just show you. Here we go. So this was, they were going to put to death a bunch of ostriches, like 400. Okay, 440 is a time of testing and trials, and the natives saved it. The natives to the land. There you see, there's one of the tribe members. We see tribes here. The First Nations showed up, and the tide turned. This, my friends, is a spiritual story playing out. This is everything that we've been thinking about and we've been talking about, and now it's something that we can't get enough of, it seems. There's so many storylines going on at the same time, it's hard to keep up with everything. That's why I'm coming to you. Ostriches. Ostriches are in Scripture. Did you know this? Let me close this out for a second. Let me just come back to you for a second before we get into the real meat of the show, because if you're new, you should stick around, because I always have the stuff that gets you going nuts towards the end. Yeah, we got a lot of people here today. You know why? They pulled back the reins, and I'm expecting my channel now that I'm doing, less frequent shows to now blow up even more as I help people find a good night's sleep. I love the allegory of my job. I love my job. Do you know that I get to counsel people? They don't even know. It's Jacob across from them, trying to influence them and encourage them in ways and lead them to seeing that their lives mean more. And they always end up leaving very happy because it's important to get a good night's sleep, especially with news like today. Peace is something that I've been saying for a long time was coming. I've called him the president of peace. I said that he would be the president of peace. In fact, I even did a song which
peace, peace, there will be peace. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
The man behind the curtain. If you haven't heard that song, you should check it out. Go over there to X and you can watch it. But peace is coming. Come hell or high water. I've been saying it a long time. Everybody's so worried about war, big war. Something's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to be too affected by it. The world will be in awe and shock of it. But I say, instead of having a nation fight a nation, I say the leaders should fight each other. And today, well, two leaders are meeting. President Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. All you got to do is change the head of the machine. If the head of the machine, right? So Goliath was the enemy of Israel. And only David, little baby David, little shepherd David with his little one smooth stone with his sling, goes against the giant, which is a picture of the carnal man, has 6 fingers, 6 toes, stands 9 feet tall. He's the head of Israel. And if what they are doing is corrupt, the head has to go. We don't need to see any more war. And I don't believe that we're going to see any more war. We may see something. I worry that it could happen, and you could see like even the wall fall, if you will. But I'd like to think that maybe they just get new leadership. Maybe we can spare this. I think that we need to come together. But the problem is people are so sick. You saw people in like the live chat. You should see the threats that I get and the people saying all the dumb things to me. So silly. So silly. I use it as an opportunity to try to encourage people to love a little bit more. But I have a feeling that we're going to see, I can show you here. Let me see if I even have it pulled up. If I don't have it pulled up, I think I do. Here we go. I've been saying this for a long time. On this thumbnail from a long time ago, this is a show that I did, everybody is gone. He's gone, no longer in power, no longer in power, no longer he passed, no longer in power, he passed. And this is the only guy that needs to be canceled if they be corrupt. So I've been saying, now here's the irony. I said it's a Westside Story. President Trump is meeting with Netanyahu today. It's a Westside Story. Here you see, I really laid down on it just recently too. Look at what he's doing. He's saying, get out. This is something that I've been talking about. Something that is, now in the land, they're treating him really, really poorly. And you know what? The whole world is turning against. It seems, just like it says in Scripture. Look at how many people walked out, right? Now, they've done this before, but never to this amount. And, he's sitting there and he's left, and And what has he got on there? That's like, is that a QR code? I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is on there. Maybe he's trying to say, maybe he's trying to make an old Star of David reference back in the day. Now it's going to be digital. I didn't see the whole speech, to be honest. The whole thing is, it's very disturbing that this world is so just up in arms. Now look at how many people are left over. Okay? This is what we've been talking about. So here, for no apparent reason, I posted, this is really weird, right? Who remembers Westside Story? I got to make sure that out. Who remembers that song? You know, who remembers it? Who knows, he says. Could be. Who knows? Remember that song? Something's coming. I don't know when. I don't know where. Who knows? Remember that? I loved it. I loved that musical. I was a theater geek. I said, who knows? West Side Story is next. I don't know why. I had that song in my head. Right when I was, seeing turkeys. And I didn't know why. So I said, I put it out there. I said, there's going to be something with the West. And then here we go. What is Trump saying? He's saying, Israel's not going to get the West Bank. No, no, no. Who knows? See, my thinking is, I don't want to see any more bloodshed. So I'm like, all right, Lord, why don't we just get rid of the bad leaders? Why don't we just get everybody on the same page? Like everybody who's corrupt, let's bring to justice. Let it be swift. We got the guy who is supposed to be perfect for the job. He fits the bill. I've compared President Donald Trump years ago when everybody was saying he's going to lose. He's going to lose. He's going to lose everything. They're going to be so. I said, he's going to be back. When everybody was saying he was going to win against Biden, I said, no, he's going to lose. I said, but don't worry. And I said, everything's going to be taken from him like Nebuchadnezzar, who said, I'm so great, I'm the chosen one. And then everything was taken from him. And then there was a time where he spent as a beast, but then he ends up returning to God and he serves God and God uses him. So this could be a similar story playing out. I pray. Like Samson, I always talk about him being like a Samson, like, that biblical judge that wasn't that great, especially when it came to his choices with women who brought the fire, And then in the end, Samson didn't have it easy. When they were taking Samson down, he decided to take the whole place down with him. That's a lesson for you. But let me just show you this, okay? Because the West Side Story is indeed a thing today. I want to play this for you. It's President Donald Trump. All right, take a listen.
Did you promise leaders this week that you would not allow Israel to annex the West Bank? Is that something that you...
I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen.
Did you speak with Netanyahu about this directly?
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow it. Whether I spoke to him or not, I did. But I'm not allowing Israel to annex the West Bank. There's been enough. It's time to stop now, okay?
Did you promise leaders this week that you would not allow...
Nuts, right? The West. It's a West Side Story indeed. A West Side Story. Who remembers the Jets? Remember the Jets? A great musical, and one that I just never got a chance to be in. I always wanted to. I don't have the best voice, I don't have the best voice. So all of these things that we see kind of coming together, it's kind of like we should be seeing like a mass resurrection soon, because all those that are dead sleeping in the graves. By the way, do you know who the grave is? You're the grave. That's right. You're the whitewashed tombs, religious leaders. That's what Jesus said. But out of them, the dead people are going to come out of the graves like Lazarus. Come on out. Your miserable life, your shell of a life, come on out. Christ's going to be risen again in you, with you, as you. The two become one. You're the bride. He's the husband. You take his name, his nature. You start to love. That's what the day we're in is all about. But there's another story going on. And it's like a zombie like Yahtzee. You know what I mean? Put the N where I say Yahtzee. Put the N. Yahtzee. It's a Yahtzee Christian zombie that's being portrayed. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. Zombies are just basically people that aren't thinking straight. Remember this guy? Nothing to see here, just a zombie on the cross. An odd fellow is he. Come on now. That's a zombie on a cross. Remember this? So back then, I was telling everybody, guess what? It's worse than you think. A zombie Yahtzee. A zombie Yahtzee virus is coming soon. That was back in 2022. And now here we are. Here we are. And this is where we are today. I mean, now some people are going to be like, oh, no, Alex Jones is on the level. You know, his parents many times had met with the CIA and everything else. But, you know, it is what it is. I actually put this post out, too. If you want, you can follow me on X. It's at JacobIsrael71. I said years ago I began warning of a zombie Christian Yahtzee virus that could slowly infect the minds of countless people in the country. Today, many of your favorite influencers celebrate this new identity. So it's the Vril, right? You remember the Vril Society? Remember the aliens? The little worms? Like aliens, they take over people. It's like body snatchers. That's the invasion. All right, hang on a second. All right, I'm not saying that there's like a zombie Yahtzee. Okay, maybe I am. I mean, Elon put this out. He said AI is going to turn this people into this. This is us this week. This is the same people next week. You don't think that you could swallow the virus? You don't think so? You think that you're, do you remember back here when he had him on? Because Kanye was like the first. He was the first to say that he loved that guy. Here, take a listen to this. This is good. This too. I can't even talk about these people. But today, that whole thing that I was like, hey, everybody. Yeah, he's walking around and he's got a NASA hat on. Every time people are wearing NASA stuff, for whatever reason, somehow something kooky happens, and it's really not to be trusted. Just like when Homeboy, appeared back after being canceled on the old YouTube, and he was wearing the NASA shirt. Both of them, they love to wear the NASA merch. NASA, right? So anyways, Homeboy is saying that the whole thing was a setup. Really? You don't say. You don't say. The whole thing where the guy's wearing like a spooky black Balenciaga spooky mask. He's saying he loves people. That wasn't set up. Who here thinks that was on the level? And he was like, oh, you tricked me. You tricked me. Oh, yes, we know it was set up. Quite obvious that this is what's happening. I mean, is it so hard to believe that this could be what really happened? What went down? Do you think that there's a reason why today, maybe even you, all my wonderful Israelites out there, are like cheering on people like Fuentes and demanding that he comes back? I mean, I'm not for censorship. I'm not for censorship. I don't want that. I'll tell you one thing. I am censored. I've been at 205,000 for like ever. All right? Fuentes reaches millions of people. Alex Jones reaches millions of people. I don't. Okay? Just because I'm not booted off and allowed everywhere else and then promoted by the algorithm. You don't think that these things happen on purpose? I think it happens on purpose. But I also feel like maybe the chains are going to come off. Maybe we could see this channel grow. I mean, look, I got almost 1,000 people watching still. Live. You know, that's not a normal occurrence, especially at this time. Something good's got to be in the air with all of this weirdness. Let me tell you how weird. Did you hear about the generals coming back? We're going to bring all the generals back. There's a big secret meeting going on. People are like, it's because of the aliens, because Atlas is acting weird. Yeah, Comet Atlas is acting weird. Remember Atlas 3I? Atlas 3I was the interstellar traveler that came in, like the third one. And I said, they're going to say it's an alien craft. And they did like a week later. So, I mean, it's a good story, right? People are half hoping that an alien would come down and it would bring the world together, you know, like Star Wars. Finally get everybody on the same page. I don't know if you've noticed, but with the Abraham Accords and everything else, it already looks like everybody's being put in place. He just made this deal with Turkey. Turkey's got a problem with Israel. A lot of people got a problem with Israel. I'm thinking, you know, maybe it's the fact that they've had peace deals offered, you know, and they've gone kaput. Trump said, don't do this, don't do that. They've done it, you know. The news is going around that Netanyahu says, I got, you know, the United States in my back pocket. This is all what's being presented to you. And then the mind virus comes in there and it twists it around. It's like, all the Jews are bad. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. Because I get that, and I also get all the Muslims are bad. And then I get all the gays are bad. Because everybody's bad but you, right, guys and gals? Right? Everybody's the problem. Can't possibly be the hate that's in your heart. And then maybe God's made everybody so different, and so that we'd have to learn how to love, because the scriptures say very clearly, you know what draws a multitude to repentance? It's not calling them names, not saying that you're the problem, you're to this, that. You know what it is? Love. Rhonda Peterson knows it's love. I'm her favorite meatball. Love draws a multitude to repentance. Love does. Love does. And all this stuff, it's for our betterment. That's why I said from day one, don't worry about this stuff. He said, when everybody's freaking about COVID, I was even freaking about COVID. I said, don't worry, it'll work out. It'll work out. Everything works out. God's in charge. Let me show you how much in charge he is, though, after we talk about this. Okay? Because this is going on right now in England. Okay? There is a digital ID, and it's coming for you. It's coming for you. This is England, by the way. I'm just going to speed up his... I can't stand listening to this guy. This guy's an issue, right? I'd like to see him gone too, to be honest. All right, take a listen.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
And that is why today, if you want to work, this guy. All right, so you need your digital ID. Is that a big deal? No, it's not a big deal. Is it the mark of the beast? No, it's not the mark of the beast. Goat Meat, thank you for the super chat. After the Snake Eyes movie. Yeah, it's weird. The whole thing is weird. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sorcery going on in the land. All right, here, listen to this. Okay, this was back, hang on, how long ago? 2022. I told everyone the Olympics opening ceremony forecasted a world digital ID rollout. Now, we've talked about the digital ID many times, but I said it's coming. It's coming. All right, now here it is. Bada bing, bada boom, take a listen. Some people believe that when they do these big events, that they're actually big rituals. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I've done enough programs about the Olympics and about all of the, these huge shows to see that sometimes things that they've done in the past are suspect because they kind of appear in the future. So I did this YouTube short with Barack Obama and it was Michelle. Does this New Year's Eve picture from Michelle Obama mean the mark of the beast has been taken? Well, if you look a little closer, it's a little freaky, I'll be honest. The word loading kind of denotes that something's being transmitted and kind of taking over, like a computer program. When things are loading, it's changing the memory of something. And you look up here and it looks kind of like a barcode. I mean, look. Now, what's weird about all that is I pointed out that in those glasses, you saw what looked like a snowflake, but it also looked kind of like a chip, like a computer chip. I even gave an example. Did you see the Olympics opening ceremony, which happened, I guess, post this short that I did? And it featured snowflakes, like snowflakes everywhere you look. Now I know what you're saying. You're saying, Jacob, what's the big deal? It's the Winter Olympics, right? Snowflakes make sense. And that's what I thought too. But something inside of me, something was like eating away at me and saying, okay, let's dig a little deeper. Let's find out what this is. So, I start looking into snowflakes. And what do I find? Oh, it's weird. Because you see, there are a lot of people out there, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, okay, that think that they want everybody tracked and, they call it like the mark of the beast. Everybody's into this mark of the beast thing. And once again, I've spoken many times about what that really is and how it's spiritual and it's not anything literal. But yeah, they want to basically tag everybody and track everybody. They want everybody to have some kind of an ID, if you will. So imagine my surprise when I look up and I find out that snowflakes are called IDs. Snowflake IDs, actually. It's a unique identifier. That's strange. It's like a tag, right? It's a unique identifier used in distributed computing. The format was created by Twitter. Now it's used as IDs for tweets. Snowflake's an ID, huh? I mean, that's some scary stuff. And now here we are. Here we are, my friends, back together again. In the battle that is going on in the world between dark and light, which everybody likes to talk about, between the Qs and the MAGAs and the... My goodness gracious, is this not exciting? Don't you get excited when you see all the weird news? Or does it freak you out and get you a little scared? Trying to keep you from being scared. I'm trying to empower you because you know what? In the end, what happens? God wins. God wins. Right in the book. It's right in the book. In the scriptures. In the days where races are going to be against races, where people are going to have problems with childbirth, in those days, there's going to be rumors of wars. You're going to hear about all this stuff. When this happens, what's coming? What's coming? Well, I'll tell you what's coming is this general meeting. Generals gathering for their meetings. That's like a Black Sabbath song. Remember? Remember that song? Not that I listened to it. Somebody told me about it, actually, which I thought was pretty cool. But so this morning I woke up to this. I see Pete Hegseth says, "Cool story, General." And then I read the story. I was thinking it was going to be a cool story. On July 1935, German generals were called to a surprise assembly in Berlin and informed that their previous oath to the Constitution was void, and they would now be required to swear a personal oath to the Fuhrer. Most generals took the new oath. You want to keep your job, right? Hang on a second. That's the Secretary of War. right there. Cool story. Cool story. And in fact, I'm calling all of my generals together right now. Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? I just find the whole thing pretty interesting because I think, that wouldn't be like if I'm calling all the generals in and it's like a serious thing and you got to come quick and I'm bringing you to Virginia. If I see somebody posting about generals being called to swear an oath against the Constitution, I would pause. I would be like, oh, well, it's a good thing my meeting's not about that. Is it just me? By the way, thank you for the new member. I think there you are, Shell. I appreciate that. New Israelite in the crew. Everybody who does that, I get like $5, I think, a month or something. I don't know. You could follow me on Patreon too. It's free. I do a Zoom there like once a month, but I share stuff there and we have a chat and everybody's getting to know each other. It's become a little bit of a community. If you would like to support me, that's one way you could do it. You can go in there, $1, free. $5 gets you into the Zooms and some of the other stuff. Send you an ebook. I'll send you one of my ebooks for free if you haven't read it already, which, by the way, The Calling is amazing. And that novel was about the day that we're in. So if you haven't gotten a copy of The Calling, too, by the way, I'm going to put out a plug. Get a copy. Go to Amazon.com. And if you've read this, please leave me a review. The more reviews, the more Amazon will shout it out. Shout it out. This is the day we're in. This is the land we're in. So this is strange. And Secretary of War, it's wild. Very wild. Now, here's funny, okay? Because, actually, let me show you who this is because I thought this was great. Upward Gravity. So I posted about this, and then Upward Gravity wrote, generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses, evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerers of destruction. In the fields, the body's burning as the war machine keeps turning. Anger, hatred, poisoning their brainwashed minds. And what was weird was I had just seen this, which I can't play, but you could see with all the cats. And I was going to share it with my family. Like literally yesterday, I was just infatuated with this video. And here, that's some interesting. It's kind of like everything works together, Everything works together for the good. That's what it seems like to me, especially when I'm sharing stuff and then boom, it happens. Let me show you this, okay? Because this right here, let me just come back to this. Boom. All the Tylers that we see, it's an appointed position. It's the outer guard who stands at the door to ensure only qualified members enter in. Who is to say that all this stuff that's happening is not happening for us? I even shared this. What are we learning from these lessons? Because everybody wants to talk about how all this bad acting and all of this stuff. Never said that. When I see these events and everything else, unless someone proves it and comes out, I take it as it happened and it's a spiritual lesson. I got to learn from what happened. It's immaterial whether or not it really happened because it's playing out. And so we understand the spiritual by the story. So we look at the story and what are we learning? In the end, in the scriptures, it talks about how there's going to be like martyrs. And they're calling him like a martyr. It was wild. They did the same thing with Peanut the squirrel. I just find it strange that the two stories are so intertwined. It's almost like written into the fabric of things. I think you got to trust your intuition more. I think people got to listen more. You know what? Let me just read this to you about the day that we're in because it's happening right now. $22 million, by the way, that jackpot was 22 that he was sharing with his best friend. Look at the fig tree and all the trees. When they sprout leaves, you can see for yourselves and you know the summer's near. Even so, when you see these things happening, you know the kingdom of God is near. Truly, I tell you, this generation will not pass until these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass, but my words will never pass. Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down. Listen to this. This is news for you. Maybe I should put on some sweet music, some sweet, encouraging, sad music to read this to you, because this is like, it's like a lesson. Don't get weighed down. Don't get too hung up on, oh, did it happen or didn't it happen? Get hung up on living your life right. There's something clearly going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. Clearly. Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and all the anxieties of life. And that day will close on you suddenly like a trap. For it will come on all those who live on the face of the whole earth. Everybody's getting this. It's going to happen at the same time to everybody. It's coming. There's an event. It's coming. Scripture tells us it's coming. It's coming. It says that it's coming right after this time that we're in. For it will come on all those who live on the face of the whole earth. So be always on your watch and pray that you may be able to escape all that is about to happen, and that you may be able to stand before the Son of Man. This is an important lesson for you. You must do the right thing, even when it's hard. You must be kind, even though you don't want to. You must forgive, even though they don't deserve it. You must love, even those you hate. Oh, it's a hard lesson. But this is a difficult day, and if you aren't up for the task, you're going to go, it's going to be a problem. You're going to be miserable, and you're going to be persecuted. I'm telling you, get on the train, the kingdom of heaven. Get on the elevator. Hopefully you're there already, because I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't matter who you got going up that ladder. It don't matter who you got going up the escalator. The big story, the master builder. The escalator. He started coming down, if you remember correctly. And now he had to walk up. Ride ain't going to be easy anymore, my friend. So you don't get to stepping. And why don't you do me a favor and give my video here a like? Because this is my day off. You know, I don't take days off. I'm always trying to serve you and serve the Lord and serve my family. I like doing it. I do. And if you like that I do it, will you support me? Will you go and will you hit the like, leave a comment, tell your friends, you know, go to PayPal, you can donate, get some truly free. You'll go, ooh, get some truly free product. Clean, go to trulyfreehome.com. All the links in the description of the video below. I loved live shows. I've missed you all. I'll see you again next week live. Got a couple of shows coming this week for you. And I'll meet you, as just some guy says, in the upper room. Like that. All right, I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.